Hi and welcome. I'm Elvire from the Dimitrov Boulez Piano Duo. Today I'm going to talk about listening back to your recordings. So we've talked on this channel before about how making a recording of yourself and listening back is really great. You'll learn a lot. And you can, if you haven't checked it out, you can check the video up here. We've talked about recording yourself. And what we've never discussed though is actually the process of listening back to your recording, because there's a lot that you can learn. You can learn to listen, you can train to listen, and you can get better at listening. How I got better at listening is actually listening together with Dimitar, and whatever he heard, he shared with me, and that made me also better at listening. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with you today. I'm going to give you a recording that I made of the Prelude number 20 in C minor by Chopin. Dimitar and I were analyzing this piece this week, and I thought I'll make a recording of my prima vista playing so that there's a lot to work on, there's a lot to listen, there's a lot of work that needs to be done because I haven't practiced it. But I thought that gives us an opportunity to listen back and to listen for what can be improved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the recording here, and we're going to listen in two steps. I want you to listen with me. The first thing we'll do is we're going to listen to the recording without score. So I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to write down what you notice. So just listen, don't try too hard, just listen and write down what you notice, don't take the score. And let's do that now. So here comes the recording. Okay, so when I listened back without the score, the first thing that I noticed was that I didn't like the tempo. It felt restless, it felt too fast, and especially the time between the three different sections wasn't enough. Now, what do I mean with three different sections? If you take a look at the score and if you think back to the recording, there are three different sections: a fortissimo section, a piano section, and a pianissimo section. Now, between those sections of the piece, needs to be enough time. If you don't take time, it feels rushed and the audience will not be able to hear that there's actually something new coming, that there's a new atmosphere coming. So what I'm going to do to show you is I'm going to play a bar before that. I'm going to start in bar 4. And this is still the fortissimo. And now I took some extra time. So this is something, of course, that I'll be practicing to really try to get the timing right. And what I'll also be doing is I'll be making again a recording of myself taking extra time and seeing if I'm satisfied with it. because there are a lot of things that you just simply hear better on a recording. Sometimes you feel like you're taking a lot of time in your head, but in reality, if you listen back, you're actually not taking time at all. So I'm definitely going to be practicing it in that way. I was also unhappy with the tempo, so that is also something that I would experiment with. Perhaps I would put the metronome. And what I was doing now actually is I was counting out the 16th notes in between. Sometimes when you have a very slow tempo and very slow notes, it's actually really difficult to keep up a slow tempo. We tend to always rush. We tend to somehow not be able to maintain a slow tempo. So what I did now was actually count out in my head the 16th notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is something that I would be practicing. Maybe with metronome I would be trying different tempi. That is the other thing that I noticed. Just listening to the general piece without score. I'm very interested to hear what you wrote down. What did you like? What did you not like? And when you wrote down what you liked, what you didn't like, try to specify why that would be. For example, it sounds restless. That's an example of why it sounds restless. It could be tempo. And also what I said, not taking enough time between the different sections. So whenever you have a feeling of you like something or you don't like something, try to analyze what can be the reason or what can you improve in order to get the effect that you want. Just saying I don't like it or it's too heavy or something, that's great. That's a great start, but it won't get you. You need to try to analyze what can I do to make it sound the way I want. And that's, I think, what we're training in this way, by listening back. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to actually listen back to this with score. Why I wanted you to listen without score is so that you get the general feeling of the piece. That's very, very important. The first thing that you hear when you hear a piece, the first thing public hears when they hear a piece, public isn't sitting with the score. Public isn't checking if you're playing fortissimo instead of mezzo forte. The public is only getting the impression that the music makes, the emotion that gets triggered while they're listening to it. And that's why the first thing that I always do is I listen without score, because it's the first impression of the music. That's how the music speaks to you. And after that, after you've got that impression already, work on the details, listen to the details, listen if you're phrasing well, if your balance is well, if you're doing the dynamics properly, if the pedaling is good, all these kinds of details, and write them very detailed into the score. So I hope you liked the video. I hope that you learned something for it. It was a new type of video, so let us know if this is something that you liked, because Dimitar and I wanted to make one together as well. Maybe of a duo piece or maybe of a solo piece, just both of us listening and discussing what we heard. So let us know if that's something that you like, that you enjoy, and that you think is useful, that you are learning from. I would be very happy if you leave in the comments the things that you heard while you were listening back to the recording. And as always, ask us any questions that you want. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share our channel with all your friends that like music as well. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, where we upload our playing and where Dimitar also uploads his music that he writes, which I think is really worth listening to. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.